I went to a biological research station, and I stayed there for the entire month of December and some of January. And so the park service had a house I could stay in. So I stayed there the whole time by myself. And it was very lonely. It was very cold. It was beautiful. It was like a one-horse town. When you're at the front porch, you could just see every star in the night sky. Every day I would wake up, eat breakfast. I would go out in the woods and take pictures. I just had a really fun time. But at nights, it became very lonely. It was a big house, very lonely. My only friend and the only other living thing in that cabin was a roach that lived in the bathroom, which I befriended, and I was so happy to see it. I would give him mangoes, and it was just me and this roach. But anyway, one night I received a phone call. It lasted probably like 5 minutes. I believe that whatever called me were two non-humans. One thing started talking to me, and the sound of the voice, it did not sound like a human. It did not sound feminine. It did not sound masculine. It just sounded bizarre. Started talking to me, and I probably sounded like an idiot. I was probably like, what? Excuse me? Pardon me? What's going on? And then another one came on the phone, like it's a buddy. So it was like a three-way call. Then they started talking to each other, and they started laughing at me. And I was paranoid. I was like, these are aliens, and they want to abduct me tonight. And so I was very freaked out. Now, if I could go back, I wish I could have been friendlier and more open to the experience. I wish I could have laughed with them and gone with the flow. But unfortunately, I was very paranoid. Around that time, I realized that they were talking with English words. So every word was English, but they were using the words incorrectly. I've since learned that this is a common thing. Like UFO occupants, sometimes people will talk to them and they look human, a little bit off, but they describe the same language. So it's a weird usage of English. I was like, man, what am I going to do? And I got defensive, I guess. I did not want to get abducted. I will say these woods are probably, it's called the Big Thicket National Preserve. This is one of the most biodiverse areas in the entire world. There's a strong connection between biodiversity and paranormal activity. Obviously, you're going to probably see a lot of cryptids in an area that has a lot of biodiversity. So this area is known for landed crafts, landed UFOs. There's a road there. It's called Ghost Road, and it's just known for spheres of light. Just everybody knows about it. It's got a big marker. There's Bigfoot sightings in this area. So it's a paranormal hotspot. So I had my own paranormal experience. But I've almost died at least twice in this area. One time I got lost in the woods. I could have easily drowned or been bitten by a snake. One time I got stuck in some quicksand, which I didn't even know was a real thing. I was collecting these water beetles on the side of this big river. The river had like really long sandy banks. I was there with my research assistant, which was a really petite girl, very small girl. This is important. We're walking down, and I guess I stepped in an area that had the right concentration of water and sand. So I immediately sunk down to my thighs, basically, in sand. And I was just like immovable. And then I looked at my research assistant, and she's bouncing up and down the quicksand like nothing's wrong. And as I was panicking, I realized that she did not weigh enough to break the surface tension of the sand. So she was fine, but not me. And then I was like, I'm not going to tell her because she's having a great time. And I don't want to sour the situation. So let me try to get out of this myself. And eventually I had to just inch my way out. I mean, I had to calm down first. I could see how easily if you were to panic, you would just make it worse. If I would have been alone and if I would have panicked, it was game over, man. I inched my way out of it. And I did find a new beetle on the side of there. I found a new locality record. So I did make a small discovery. Anyway, that's to say that I have been in danger in this area. So I got in that mindset with these aliens. So what I did is I remembered the last thing they said to me, which I believe, my memory is hazy, but I believe that the closest thing I could remember is in this weird alien voice, they kept asking me, where's the bucket Leroy? Where's the bucket Leroy? Very odd. So I memorized that phrase and I asked it to them. So I started asking them. I was like asking them, hey, where's the bucket? And I started calling them Leroy. And then I got more heated. I opened the door and I went outside. I was just shouting into the darkness. It was cold. I had the phone. I was just like, where's the bucket, Leroy? But eventually, they freaked out and they hung up on me. So they thought I was the weird one, which is very interesting. And as far as I know, I did not get abducted.